Explosive news is dropping, and you are not going to want to miss this. We've got the latest on Charlie Kirk's legacy and the shocking aftermath of his murder. Get ready, this is Glowline. Plus, a major FCC warning to Jimmy Kimmel, and a look at the spiritual revival sparked by this tragedy. We're diving deep into the controversies surrounding Charlie Kirk's legacy, exploring the charged atmosphere on college campuses and the starkly different perspectives on his influence. Was he a provocateur or a martyr? Then, we break down the FCC's warning to Jimmy Kimmel over his comments about the Charlie Kirk assassination suspect and explore the spiritual revival that's emerging from the tragedy. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Charlie Kirk's legacy under fire. Charlie Kirk's life and influence are being dissected in the wake of his death, revealing a deeply divisive figure whose legacy is anything but simple. Despite attempts to portray him as a mere conservative activist, his history reveals a more complex and controversial figure. His co-founding of Turning Point USA in 2012 marked the beginning of a career characterized by provocative rhetoric, including labeling LGBTQ+ identity a social contagion and lamenting the Civil Rights Act. His campus visits, like the one at UC Santa Barbara, often ignited protests, with students condemning his politics as extremist and contrary to the university's values. Critics point to his use of loaded language, such as calling for lethal force against immigrants, and his assertion that gun deaths were worth it to protect the Second Amendment, as evidence of a rhetoric that fueled division and normalized white nationalism. This narrative clashes sharply with those who view him as a martyr for free speech, highlighting the profound polarization surrounding his public persona. The debate intensifies as many grapple with the implications of his rhetoric and its potential contribution to the culture of political violence. This deep dive into Charlie Kirk's past and the reactions to his death are sparking intense debate online, with many questioning the narrative being presented and demanding a more critical examination of his impact. Stay with us as we uncover the latest developments in this controversial story. Next, we'll explore the FCC's stern warning to Jimmy Kimmel in response to his remarks on the Kirk case. FCC Chairman issues warning to Jimmy Kimmel. In a dramatic turn of events, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr has issued a stern warning to ABC over comments made by late-night host Jimmy Kimmel regarding the suspect in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Carr, speaking on a podcast, suggested potential FCC action against ABC, citing the public interest standard that broadcasters must uphold. Kimmel, during his monologue, characterized the MAGA gang's efforts to distance the suspect from their movement as desperate and politically motivated. The suspect, Tyler Robinson, was charged with Kirk's killing, with his mother reportedly stating he had become more political and leaned left, expressing that Kirk spreads too much hate. This statement contrasts with other accounts suggesting a conservative upbringing and tension with his father. Carr's warning has drawn criticism from FCC Commissioner Ana Gomez, who voiced concerns about broader censorship and the government using its power to suppress lawful expression, especially when it challenges those in power. Despite the FCC's own website stating its limited authority and commitment to free expression, Carr appears to be pushing the boundaries of the agency's oversight, suggesting remedies for ABC, such as Kimmel's firing or suspension. Legal experts, like Ari Cohn of Fire, argue the FCC lacks the authority to control a late-night host's speech, and that the First Amendment protects speculation on current events, warning against the FCC becoming an arbiter of truth. The FCC's move has ignited a firestorm of debate about free speech, censorship, and the limits of regulatory power in the digital age. But the story doesn't end there. We're also looking at an unexpected spiritual movement emerging from this tragedy. Up next, discover the powerful revival that's taking hold in the wake of Charlie Kirk's death. Spiritual revival amidst tragedy. In the somber aftermath of Charlie Kirk's murder, an unexpected wave of spiritual revival is sweeping across the nation, offering a message of hope and transformation. Supporters view Kirk not just as a political figure, but as a martyred voice for Christ, whose commitment to biblical truths and love for his country has inspired a profound spiritual awakening. Churches are reportedly filling, with young people surrendering to God, experiencing life changes, and undergoing baptism. This movement emphasizes that while righteousness cannot be legislated, true hope lies in Jesus Christ alone. Organizers are calling for a nationwide revival, praying that this moment of sorrow will not be in vain, but will lead to a pouring out of God's Spirit, strengthening believers and drawing many to salvation. The movement seeks to counter the evil forces and spiritual hosts of wickedness that they believe are influencing susceptible individuals, urging believers to pray for open eyes and hearts to the truth of salvation. This spiritual resurgence is seen by many as a direct response to the darkness and division, aiming to ignite a great awakening and bring eternal life to countless souls, fulfilling what they believe is Charlie Kirk's ultimate mission. This profound spiritual response is resonating deeply with many, offering a beacon of light in what has been a dark and contentious period. But how does this spiritual movement connect with the ongoing political discourse? Coming up, we analyze the intense debate around Charlie Kirk's effectiveness and whether his death was an inevitable consequence of his polarizing presence. The debate over Charlie Kirk's effectiveness and bubble politics. Charlie Kirk's effectiveness as a communicator is at the heart of a complex debate following his death, with some arguing his ability to mobilize and engage audiences, particularly young conservatives, ultimately made him a target. This perspective suggests that his Prove Me Wrong tour, which encouraged open debate and challenged prevailing campus narratives, was met with intense opposition precisely because it disrupted established ideological bubbles. Critics, however, point to his rhetoric as divisive and inflammatory, contributing to a climate where political violence, as evidenced by polling data showing a significant percentage of young people justifying violence for political ideals, becomes more plausible. The narrative of Kirk as a provocateur, labeled a Nazi and misogynist by some, is contrasted with his supporters' view of him as a man of deep faith committed to living out his beliefs. The piece highlights the shift in political discourse from policy debate to ideological entrenchment, where differing views are often shut out rather than engaged with. The author argues that Kirk's willingness to stand firm in his beliefs, even in the face of hostility and physical danger, demonstrated courage. This perspective frames his death not just as a tragic act of violence, but as a consequence of a society increasingly unwilling to engage with ideas it disagrees with, leading to a dangerous polarization where dialogue is replaced by silencing and, in the worst cases, violence. This analysis sheds light on the broader societal trends contributing to political polarization and the potential dangers of echo chambers in public discourse. We've covered a lot of ground today, from political legacies to regulatory battles and spiritual awakenings. Stick around for our lightning round recap and a full call to action. And that's our breakdown. We've seen the controversial legacy of Charlie Kirk dissected, the FCC deliver a warning to Jimmy Kimmel over his comments, a powerful spiritual revival emerging from the tragedy, and a deep dive into the politics of ideological bubbles. It's been a whirlwind of news. Don't forget to smash that like button if you found this valuable, subscribe for more daily updates, ring that notification bell so you never miss a video, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on these stories. You can also follow us on all our social media channels for more exclusive content. Thanks for watching Glowline.